Hey folks, so I think I'll start this video out with saying that I am feeling a lot better now, thankfully. Um Last week, I believe is when my sinus issues began to fade entirely. I am now regaining all of my senses. I can taste and smell just fine. I'm not as congested as I was. I don't have any headaches, thank goodness, because that was brutal. So yeah, I'm feeling a ton better. Thanks for everyone who messaged me and who, um, you know, had time to check on me and tell me to get better. Thank you very much. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. So that being said, one thing that I get a lot of, and I know a lot of you have probably heard it as well, is this idea that just because something is in nature, that excuses it from any criticism. You ask people, what's the point of keeping this human experiment going, right? And they'll tell you, well, it's just nature. Everything in nature reproduces. So it's nature. It's the miracle of life. You have to reproduce. I always think that's funny because roaches reproduce, viruses reproduce, um, you know, abnormal cells, they reproduce. So where is the miracle in that? You very rarely will see people ever uh, applaud viruses for reproducing. Isn't that a miracle of life? Isn't that a miracle of nature that a virus can reproduce? Why not celebrate that? Why not celebrate the cockroaches laying millions of eggs? Why not celebrate that? Why not celebrate the rodents that have babies constantly? Why not celebrate that? You know? So it this whole idea of it's a miracle to have a child. It's not a miracle. It's biological fact. It's a biological reality that unfortunately does exist on this planet. It's simple biology. There is no miracle to it. You're not doing anything special by bringing a baby into this world. You're not creating some God's holy miracle just because you get pregnant. What happened was you had unprotected sex and the baby is the natural consequence of that. You're not special for enforcing death, suffering, and harm onto another innocent human being. You're not special for doing that. What did you do besides propagate another corpse to be born? What did you do besides bring somebody else to experience another bad cancer diagnosis, another bad headache, another bad toothache, another set of responsibilities and worries and struggles to be overcome for no reason? What did you do exactly that qualifies this as being a miracle? Please explain that to me. There was no there is no miracle. What you did was egotistical. It was selfish. You can't give a reason that is not selfish for bringing a child into this world. You certainly didn't do it for the child's sake. What does the child get out of being brought into a world like this? Answer me that. Oh, but there are good things in life. Why don't you pay attention to the good things in life? By and large, the good things in life are nothing but pain mitigation. Pain mitigation. That's pretty much all it is every good is there to offset a bad. And the bads are naturally there. They're naturally built into this thing we call life. And so those goods are there to satiate the bad. However, However, if you didn't bring a child into the world, there would be no one needing to satiate those bads, now would there? You're just creating need machines. You're creating people who are going to be addicted to this life thing. They're going to experience suffering, pain, sorrow, addiction. It's like a drug, and the biology creates it. that will to live that is inherent in all biological creatures. So you're not doing anything special. You are doing what evolution has done for millions of years. You are creating unnecessary carnage. Your child will be a funeral someday. And this is what gets me with people. You go to funerals. I've experienced so many funerals lately, and I've seen people go to funerals lately, and it just is so unfortunate that they never draw the conclusion. They sit in all of these horrible services each and every time, and they never put two and two together that was once a baby laying in that casket. And then they go right back out from the service, and what do? They get pregnant. They have more babies, totally forgetting about what they just left behind, as if that's not going to happen again. Unaware that every time you bring a baby into this world, you are birthing someone who will die, who is going to die, and they're going to suffer first. And the ways in which they suffer and die, you can never predict as a parent, because you don't have a magic crystal ball that tells you everything is going to be all right. You don't know that. So you're imposing the gamble. You're imposing life. You're saying that you know the future and that you have the right to do this when you don't. You want a mini-me. You want somebody who looks like you, who has your genes, for egotistical reasons. That's all you do. That's the only reason you reproduce. So you can have a little plaything that looks like you. And antinatalists and ethicists, we are not here trying to bully you. We are trying to enlighten you. We are trying to get you to see what you are doing is inherently evil. It is cruelty. It is cruelty. You are subjecting another human being to torture, to death for no reason. You cry at funerals and then have the audacity to make more funerals when you have children. It just pisses me off that nobody thinks about this stuff. They don't think about it. And then you have the nerve to say you're bringing a miracle into the world. What miracle? There are already 7 billion miracles on the planet right now, growing. Eventually, what you're going to do is you're going to breed billions more miracles. And guess what's going to happen? Suffering on a massive scale. There will be resource depletion. There will be wars fought over resources and distribution of those resources that are short. And it could have been avoided if people would have taken the warning and stopped reproducing this nightmare. Because that's what you're going to do. You're going to breed yourselves into disaster. And what antinatalists are saying is, we are saying, put a halt to it. Stop. Just stop. There is no point. There is no point to it. You are creating needless suffering for no reason other than your own selfish gratification. You don't consider the world that your children will live in. You don't consider their futures. You don't consider they're going to have to grow up and be wage slaves in the capitalist labor market that exploits them until they're elderly and can do nothing else but hope to retire. And already we see retirement is not even the guarantee right now for people my age. So even younger, I can already imagine they're not going to have much of anything by the time they get old enough to retire. So what are you doing? You're imposing fate on a gamble that everything is going to be all right when you don't know that. You don't. And you're pretending you do, but you don't. So my message, as long as I live, as long as I'm on earth, I will propagate this message. I will educate people on the topic of antinatalism because it is necessary. This is about preventing further harm, preventing unnecessary death, suffering, and carnage. Because no baby, no child deserves to be born into a world like this, into a cycle like this. This is a very parasitic, cruel cycle. Every time you have a baby, You are giving birth inside of a lion cage full of hungry lions waiting to devour your baby. And you are happy about it. You are gleeful about it. And you don't even think. So that's my spill today. It just pisses me off so much to hear people say, it's the miracle of life. No, it's the fucking sadism of life. It's the cruelty of life. And the faster you people realize that, the better. Stop it.